Well, didn't expect to record today, and to make it even better, I had had kind of a cough earlier, and I look like a mess. Oh god! But I went on to Twitter. My hair just looks like it came out of a rat. Okay, that's at least presentable. That's at least um. But Tulsi Gabbard announced today. I logged onto Twitter and I saw Tulsi Gabbard trending, and at first I thought it was about that op-ed she wrote for The Hill that went after Democrats who were going after a judge nominee's Catholicism, which, for the record, I entirely agree with her on. You shouldn't go after specifically that he's a Catholic. You should go after his actual views, and then try not to tie it back to Catholicism because then you're basically screwing over all Catholic voters. And again, we're the people who have nominated John F. Kennedy. We put him into office. He was a Catholic, but that's besides the point. And I see under it, Tulsi Gabbard announces that she's running for president. And, oh man. Oh man. Anyway, if you've been watching the show, you know that I've said that my personal preferred candidate so far is Richard Ojeda. Gabbard, in my opinion, beats Ojeda, mostly because she has almost the exact same policies and a much better chance because Gabbard is an actual representative. Meanwhile, Ojeda is just a state senator. Now, I still love Ojeda. I still think he's going to add a lot to the race, including maybe even pushing some of the corporatists to the left. But it should be noted that I think that overall Gabbard is probably the pragmatic. I'm literally recording this on my bed because it was just such breaking news. I didn't have time to set up everything. So I'm just going to read her political positions. This is on from her. This is from the reliable source of Wikipedia. I've actually checked the sources in the article. I didn't see anything particularly bad. Gabbard strongly opposes the Trans-Pacific Partnership and led protests against it, yes. Even if you agree with free trade, which for the record I do, the TPP was a disaster that basically wanted us to give up our national sovereignty. Gabbard supports a strong US-India relationship. That's something you don't hear about much. Mainly because our last involvement in India was jacking their resources in the imperialist era. And I'm happy someone's finally bringing attention to that. Gabbard voted in favor of a joint comprehensive plan of action which imposed restraints on Iran's nuclear program in exchange for. She basically voted for the Iran deal. She opposed the 2003 invasion in Iraq, although that could get her into some controversy because she also served in that war, which, mind you, I think was amazing. But then they went after John Kerry for serving in Vietnam and then coming out against it in '04. So these people just don't have any standards. She criticized elements within the Pakistan government, however, it has. Which, again, she's not really one of the few doing it, but she's also talked about eliminating aid, which I'm completely for. She's gone after Saudi Arabia. Her most controversial foreign position is on Syria, which is basically Assad's a bad guy, but we shouldn't topple him. Which is completely accurate in her position of any country, but of course she's been smeared as an Assad apologist for it by the mainstream media. On the environment, she is completely great. She's recognized the environmental impact, even of things like TPP. It's called for us to get off of fossil fuels and even introduced legislation to get us off fossil fuels. She is completely pro-choice and would not give in to any of the Republicans' pro-life tactics. She is completely, no, not completely against drones. She supports very limited drone use, which I personally think the answer is just ban drones entirely. She flip-flopped kind of on the LGBT issue. She didn't become completely for same-sex marriage until 2012. In fact, she was even actively against civil unions back in 2004. But my response to that is it was 2004. That was probably just a political move, one I disagree with, mind you. But okay. You know, you had a bad opinion once. She is completely in favor of legalization of marijuana, which again is another yes. The GOP Twitter account actually released a little flyer thing, the Tusli Gabbard cheat sheet, Assad's a mouthpiece in Washington. They put quotes around it. Are they quoting someone? I don't get it. 1. Held controversial secret meeting with Assad in 2017. Yes, politicians meet with foreign leaders. Okay. And for that matter, I hate to be that guy, but Saudi Arabia is doing a genocide in Yemen and attacked us on September 11th. When did Assad do that? Because here is really what it comes down to. Assad is a threat to the people of Syria. The House Assad is a threat internationally. That's the simple distinction between them. 2. Only Democrat to vote against consent, condemning the Assad regime violence against civilians. Okay, that was to stop foreign tensions from escalating. It was an example of saying something you thought was wrong to have the right thing happen would be the best way to put it. Because if you vote even for a symbolic resolution, all you're doing is escalating tensions. Gabbard is anti-war, and she would know that because she actually voluntarily served in a war, unlike Donald, who dodged a draft in Vietnam. 3. Progressives, brats. Not all progressives are brats, but the specific progressives they're talking about are brats, to be clear. Have blasted her on a whole range of issues. From foreign policy. Oh God, they disagree with her on foreign policy. How will we survive? To immigration. She's fairly middle of the road on immigration, from what I've heard. I don't know. Did she said anything on immigration horribly controversial that I just missed? That, like, I seriously don't know here. To her 180-degree turn on social issues. Yes, as opposed to the Republican who... oh, God. There was... I hate Dan Savage, I really do, but I think he actually said it best. Every 4 years, these people just sort of swamp out of nowhere to remind us that the Democrat was once awful on social issues, and therefore say that we should vote for the Republican who's still awful on social issues and promises to still be awful on social issues. Registered from DNC to support Bernie Sanders. Okay, that's just a positive. A House member hasn't successfully run for president since James Garfield in 1880. And when did a businessman become president last? I don't mean one who was also in business but held elected office. I mean someone who had never held elective office but was just a businessman. Last president to not hold any sort of elected office was Eisenhower. Before that, I think it was Washington. Anyway, I'm Ephrom, and if you are annoyed by the Trump-Russia coverage, wait till you hear the Tulsi Syria coverage. Good night.